Good morning, Dr. James here. I'm so grateful to have a few moments with you today. Right out of the gate, I want to share something with you. I am absolutely working on myself most all the time. In fact, over the last 30 plus years, since I became a young adult, I think I've been dedicating most of my waking hours to working on myself on one level or another. I'm not sure if you can relate to that. I trust you can, and if we're spending time together each and every morning here in the epic living laboratory of this treehouse porch, I gotta believe you are wonderfully working on yourself, just like I am. You know, and it shouldn't be discouraging to think that we spend that much time working on ourselves, as long as it's in the idea of self-love and self-compassion, and really the excitement that comes with awareness and waking up to the true expression of what we want to be here and how we want to serve with a high expression of ourselves. You know, I want to share something this morning I think is fabulous and very, very sobering. Sobering first, in the sense that I've been reading this research by a guy named Matt Killingworth. He's a guy at a research lab at Harvard. And at Harvard, he's been looking at the whole idea of mindfulness and happiness. And over the last several years, he's actually studied over 150,000 subjects. And what he's been looking at is how often are people present when they're actually there? Meaning that when you're driving a car, is your mind where you are driving the car? If you're doing the dishes, are you present with doing the dishes? When you're having a conversation with someone, are you actually there with that person? Are you aware? Are you present? Are you fully there for that person or yourself when you are doing the act of that particular moment? Well, you know what? He's found out that a wandering mind is highly common. In fact, the wandering mind leads to a lot of unhappiness. He found it's one of the most powerful, insidious, and common causes of being unhappy. And what he's found out is that 47% of the time, we are not present where we are. 47% of the time, meaning that nearly half of our entire life, we're not where we are. We're someplace else. We're thinking about a past regret or a future fear, or we're critiquing ourselves, we're critiquing somebody else, which all leads to greater unhappiness. So, this is sobering, but here's the good news. He was also looking at, so what's the antidote? What's the healing? What's the opportunity we have? And for you and me, people who have this wandering mind, and you know, we don't want to look at this as something it's like that we're failing. Just being aware of the fact that we have a wandering mind is a success. It should make us feel a sense of self-love and self-peace and an opportunity. So here's what he's come up with. There's a 7-minute practice called the self-compassion practice, which is literally sitting quietly for 7 minutes a day. And that can be done in 14 30-second increments or 7 1-minute increments, but literally just sitting quietly for a total of 7 minutes a day and really being in that place of self-compassion. What does that look like? It looks like just simply sitting quietly or walking quietly through the woods or walking quietly on the street and just being a meditative space of loving yourself, being compassionate of your humanness, being here in the earth school and not being perfect, but being a person who's working on optimalism, always trying to, if you will, be present in the here and now and learn what you can in the moment that is right now. That is a practice of self-compassion, and doing it without that critic constantly saying, well, you should be doing it better. There's no way of doing presence better other than absolutely being aware of the fact that you are here and right now, doing the work of becoming the highest version of yourself, becoming the most loving, creative, courageous, awake version of yourself. That is self-compassion. And accepting that brings happiness. And here's the cool side effect. When we do this 7 minutes, what he's learning through his research, we become more present. We literally can start being less of a wandering mind and being much more here in the moment, which leads to greater and greater happiness. So we've got more happiness by becoming more self-compassionate, more self-loving, more self-aware. At the same time, we learn how to be more present, which also increases our happiness. It's a 1-2 punch for upgrading our happiness. So with that, for you and I who are, how should we say, students of our greatest life, always in the earth school, continually working on how we can become the highest and most loving and best versions of ourselves so we can be a beneficial presence on the planet, good for you, good for me, good for all of us. I wish you well on this journey. I wish you much love and many blessings. Thank you for having the opportunity this morning to share. I'm pretty stoked that we have an opportunity to get up and rock it again today. Thank you.